Assalamu alaikum, inshallah you're well guys. So today I wanted to give some advice to recent grads because I often get asked questions around entry requirements, applications, concerns, and I think it's a good opportunity to give some confidence and reassurance back to people. The first thing I'm going to speak about is your degree. Now many people want to enter finance with a non-relevant degree, for example English literature, and they're worried that they may be seen as less or not as good as grads who have a relevant degree such as accounting and finance. For many careers, not just finance, I'd say that's a load of rubbish because many industries don't require a specific degree. And in finance, I'd say a lot of schemes just require you to have a 2-1 degree in any discipline. There's schemes out there which will accept a 2-2 as well. And in the future, we may even see a move away from specific grade requirements. But obviously, don't rely on that, guys. My advice to you is aim for a first. And even if you miss, you should secure a 2-1. And let me give you some practical examples to help prove my point. So when I joined the National Audit Office around 12 years ago now, I was part of the apprenticeship intake. Alongside us, we had a graduate intake, and in that cohort, we had someone who had come from Oxford University, someone from Coventry University. We had a qualified solicitor who fancied switching careers, so they wanted to become a chartered accountant and join the grad scheme. We had someone who had a PhD doctorate in a science-based subjects. They were elder than their peers. But they also fancied becoming a chartered accountant, and we had people who had taken gap years out to go and explore the world before joining the NAO's grad scheme, all from different backgrounds and circumstances. And the most odd example I can give you is that I know someone who joined the BDO audit grad scheme after completing a degree in songwriting. So plenty of evidence for you that the university you went to and the degree you studied doesn't matter in many instances. The other thing I'm often asked is, what career path should I follow? What service line should I go into? Audit, tax, consulting, or should I go into practice or industry? The truth is that you shouldn't limit your applications to one particular career or one particular service line, because the reality is that A, you don't get a true idea of what a job is like until you work it. You can attend as many insight events as you like, speak to as many people beforehand as you want, but the truth is that your experiences may be wildly different from theirs. And B, the competition is intense. I was surprised to read, I think it was last year, where PwC received almost 100,000 applications. That works out to approximately 50 applicants for each role they have. Remember, you can switch service lines and try something new later on in your career. Just because you may start in practice doesn't mean your career will finish in practice. Using audit as an example, I've seen a fair few people switch from audit into consulting, say. You may also want to go into tax. Well, that's great. All you have to do is study for the CTA qualification and apply for a rotation. My point is that there's options available to you. Now, people may not want to do that because it may take them longer to progress to senior positions. Instead of having linear progression, you now have to do a sideways move, or you may even see your career stall for a few years. But my counter argument to that is that your career will hardly ever go as planned, and it's more important to prioritize having satisfaction in the job you do than money and a job title. The third point I want to cover is about attending insight events or doing placements, which are great. They definitely stand out on your CV. But if you haven't done any of those and you've graduated, there's nothing to worry about. Attending a 2-day insight event will definitely give you a better understanding of the career you're applying to, but that doesn't mean you whiz through the application process and are guaranteed success. The only time it does make a real difference is if you do a placement year or a 3-month internship, because that gives you a chance to impress the employer, and they may reward you by fast-tracking you through the application process or even giving you a job offer. What does matter, however, is your soft skills. So if you've attended 50 insight events, you've got a first-class honours degree from Cambridge, but you can't hold a conversation, you're not going to secure a job offer. So I'd go as far as saying that you should be prioritizing getting a job during your studies, because that will give you more exposure to people from different backgrounds, different cultures, which will help improve things such as your communication skills and networking. When I interview people, I'd say the biggest thing that affects their performance is nerves. And as a recent graduate, it can be quite nerve-wracking, say, having an interview with a partner who's very senior, elder than you, and much more experienced. But you can address nerves by networking beforehand. If you've spoken to managers, directors, partners on LinkedIn, Teams, face-to-face, you'll realize actually they're normal people and they were once in your position. So that can make the interview process go much smoother. The final point I want to address is when people approach me and say, Fazan, I've made dozens of applications and I've not been successful. And normally I think, how much effort are you putting into your applications? Because something clearly isn't working. Then I probe further. What firms have you applied to? Oh, all of them. And what feedback have you received to date? Nothing, because I've just got rejection emails. If that sounds like you need to change your approach. Firstly, you need to be tailoring your CV to each application. I know that may take a long time, but you went to uni to grow a career, not to sit at home. Secondly, stay organized. Chase employers for updates, get feedback. There's a free application tracker on my website, victorsfinance.co.uk. Download it and use it. Thirdly, do the things you don't want to do. Record yourself in an interview setting. Practice giving presentations to family and friends. If you're going to attend an interview with an hour's worth of research, you may as well not bother, because many people would have put a lot more effort in than you. Is there any advice I've missed for those of you who have recently graduated? Inshallah, let me know. As always, any questions or queries, please feel free to comment below or message me on Instagram.